Welcome to the Book Club podcast. You're listening to the audiobook edition of Becoming Her, How to Stand Out in a World Full of Beautiful Women.
by Kamiko Chamo.
If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future chapters or upcoming book releases. This book is also available on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle formats if you'd like your own copy to read along or take notes. Now, let's begin today's chapter. Chapter 7. How to Enter a Room and Own It Effortlessly. Owning a room is not about appearance, status, or even charisma. It's about energy. It's the subtle but commanding vibration that says, I am meant to be here. The women who own rooms are not always the loudest or the most adorned. They are the ones who have mastered presence, an embodied, composed, magnetic awareness that naturally draws attention without demanding it. To own a room is not to control it. It is to harmonize with it. It is the art of aligning your energy so completely that the environment adjusts to you. People turn their heads not because you enter with noise, but because you bring an atmosphere, a balance of grace and quiet power that instantly transforms the space. The psychology of first impressions. Every woman, at some point, has stepped into a room and felt the invisible current of energy that moves before words are exchanged. It's that split-second moment when people turn to look, when eyes meet for the first time, and something unspoken passes through the air. That instant is your first impression, not created by what you say, but by what you are. Psychologists call it thin slicing, the mind's ability to form judgments in mere seconds. But what many never realize is that those judgments are not random. They are based on your energy signature, the invisible field that expresses how you feel about yourself. Your first impression begins the moment your energy enters a space, even before your physical presence is fully noticed. People don't just see you, they sense you. They pick up on confidence or insecurity, serenity or tension, self-assurance or self-doubt. And because this happens subconsciously, they react not to your words, but to your vibration. That's the true psychology behind first impressions. Energy precedes language. The subconscious scan. When you walk into a room, everyone's subconscious begins to scan you, not in judgment, but in instinct. The human brain has evolved to detect microsignals of safety and confidence almost instantly. Within the first few seconds, people decide if they feel drawn to you, indifferent, or defensive. These responses are not controlled by logic, they're controlled by emotion. Think about it. When someone enters with scattered energy, fidgeting, glancing down, speaking too quickly, you feel it. The nervousness becomes contagious. But when someone enters with grounded calm, shoulders open, gaze steady, and breathing even, you relax. Their energy tells your nervous system, this person is safe, stable, confident. That's why commanding first impressions isn't about perfection. It's about energetic coherence, the alignment of your mind, body, and emotion into one calm frequency. The mirror effect. People reflect your energy. Energy is contagious because of something called the mirror neuron system. These neurons allow us to emotionally catch the states of those around us. When you smile genuinely, others' brains release oxytocin, the same chemical associated with trust. When you're tense, their muscles subtly tighten too. This is why your emotional regulation is your greatest asset. If you are internally at peace, you transmit steadiness. If you are internally chaotic, you project uncertainty. The mirror effect means that everyone around you becomes a reflection of your energy. That's not mysticism, that's neuroscience. The woman who understands this no longer tries to impress people. She influences them by managing her own vibration. Her calmness sets the tone. Her composure calibrates the room. Confidence, the invisible language. Confidence, in its purest form, cannot be faked. You can imitate body language, recite affirmations, or practice poses, but unless your confidence is anchored in self-awareness, it will always feel hollow. True confidence is not about believing you are better than others, it's about knowing you belong among them. It's quiet, grounded, and deeply personal. When you enter a room knowing you have nothing to prove, your energy communicates that naturally. Your shoulders stay relaxed. Your pace is unhurried. Your eyes hold, but do not challenge. You no longer perform confidence, you embody it. People sense this difference immediately. It's why one woman can enter in silence and captivate attention, while another, louder one, fades into background noise. Presence always outweighs performance. Authenticity and emotional honesty. The psychology of attraction, professional, social, or romantic, is built on authenticity. People are drawn to what feels real. The subconscious can detect falseness faster than logic can explain it. Fake smiles, nervous laughter, forced postures, they all betray the energy of insecurity. Authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or being raw inappropriately. It means allowing your real self to exist without apology. You can be elegant and vulnerable at the same time. The key is emotional honesty, showing up aligned with your truth in that moment. When your energy matches your expression, people feel safe. When there's dissonance, they pull back. That's why the most magnetic first impressions are rooted in self-acceptance. The feminine advantage. Feminine energy holds a natural advantage when it comes to creating powerful impressions because it operates through feeling, not force. Masculine energy pushes to be seen. Feminine energy allows itself to be felt. The difference is subtle but profound. When you're in your feminine, receptive, grounded, aware, your energy expands. You become the calm in a room, not the noise within it. People instinctively lean toward you because your energy feels nurturing yet strong. It's a kind of invisible gravity, not seductive, but magnetic. Feminine confidence is like water, adaptable, patient, and unshakable. It flows where it needs to, without rushing or begging for direction. That's the essence of true first impression mastery, being both present and unattached. How to prepare energetically before entering any room. Owning a room begins before you even step into it. The state of your nervous system determines the strength of your energy. Before entering a social or professional space, pause. Breathe deeply 3 times. With every inhale, think I am enough. With every exhale, release tension. Then, imagine your energy field expanding softly around you. Not as a wall, but as light. This visualization primes your body to enter in coherence. Straighten your posture, lift your chin slightly, and walk at a comfortable pace. Avoid rushing. Rushing communicates self-doubt. By aligning your energy first, you stop trying to perform for others and start resonating with them. You become the stable vibration in a world of static, leaving a psychological imprint. First impressions linger because they are emotional, not intellectual. People may forget your words, but they will remember your energy signature, how you made them feel in your presence. Did they feel safe, inspired, or seen? Or did they feel tension, competition, or discomfort? The energy you bring into a room becomes your silent business card. It is your unspoken resume, your emotional handshake. Long after you've left, that vibration remains. It's the whisper of your essence that people can't quite name, but can never forget. So, if you want to make an unforgettable first impression, don't focus on being impressive. Focus on being aligned. The energy of alignment, where confidence meets calm, is what people truly remember. Because the psychology of first impressions isn't about performance. It's about presence. And when your presence carries peace, the world listens before you even speak. Commanding attention without performing. There is a profound difference between commanding attention and seeking attention. One is magnetic, the other is desperate. The first arises from presence, while the second comes from performance. A woman who commands attention does not compete with noise. She simply radiates an energy that makes silence meaningful. Her power lies not in how much she does, but in how deeply she exists in every moment. You can feel it instantly. When she enters the room, the air shifts. She doesn't try to be noticed, yet everyone notices. Her aura is calm, but not passive. There's a quiet assurance in the way she carries herself, in the ease of her movement, in the deliberate pace of her words. She's not there to convince anyone of her worth. She knows it. That knowing, that deep internal validation, is what makes her unforgettable. The subtle energy of presence. Attention is not something you demand, it's something you evoke. And it begins with energy. People feel you before they hear you. If your presence is fragmented, over-anxious, or seeking, they sense it immediately. But when your energy is steady and self-contained, it communicates confidence without words. To understand this, imagine two women entering the same space. The first walks in quickly, smiling too broadly, speaking too soon. Her energy leaks in every direction. She's trying to connect, but her vibration says, "Please notice me." The second walks in slowly, observing, breathing, grounded. Her gaze is soft but direct. She speaks only when needed. Her silence feels intentional, not awkward. Without realizing it, everyone in the room adjusts to her pace. That is the power of embodied presence. It's not about charm or charisma. It's about alignment, when your body, energy, and intention move in harmony. Why performing repels energy? Performance is what happens when insecurity dresses up as confidence. It's the constant need to prove you belong, to fill silence, to over-explain. Performance is loud because it fears being unseen. But in reality, it pushes people away energetically and emotionally. The psychology behind this is simple. Performance feels inauthentic. The human brain is wired to detect inconsistency. When your words, tone, and body language don't align, people subconsciously register it as dissonance. They may not know why, but they stop trusting the energy. Commanding attention, by contrast, feels safe. It's coherent. It says, "I am here. I am whole." When you speak less and mean more, people listen longer. When you allow pauses, people lean in. When you smile authentically, people soften. The truth is, performance drains energy, but presence renews it. The psychology of the calm center.
Imagine a storm.
Everything around it swirls in chaos, but the center, the eye, remains still. That's what commanding attention feels like. You become the emotional center of gravity in any space. People unconsciously orient themselves around your calmness because it represents stability. When you stay grounded, emotionally and energetically, you give others permission to relax. You stop chasing validation because your peace is your validation. This creates the phenomenon psychologists call emotional anchoring. Your energy sets the emotional tone for others. That's why truly magnetic women rarely need to raise their voices. Their calmness is louder than sound. Owning silence as power. Silence is one of the most underestimated tools of influence. The woman who is comfortable with silence controls the pace of every conversation. She doesn't rush to fill space. She allows others to meet her energy there. Her silence signals confidence. It says, "I'm not afraid to be with myself." When you stop fearing silence, you stop fearing yourself. You begin to understand that quiet isn't emptiness, it's presence unspoken. And in a world obsessed with noise, silence becomes a form of rebellion. It captures attention precisely because it's rare. Owning silence doesn't mean withholding emotion. It means choosing when to speak and when to let your stillness speak for you. Commanding through intentional movement. Movement carries memory. Every step, every gesture, every shift of posture tells a story. The woman who commands attention moves intentionally. She doesn't rush, fidget, or perform. Her gestures are slow, controlled, and deliberate. She understands that grace in movement communicates control and spirit. Commanding attention isn't about being mechanical, it's about mindfulness. When you walk into a room, walk with purpose. When you sit, do so gracefully. When you speak, allow your gestures to match your tone, not to dramatize it, but to emphasize authenticity. People will forget your words, but remember how you moved. Because movement, like energy, lingers. Confidence without the chase. You don't need to chase attention when you understand that you are the attention. The moment you walk in, your energy begins to teach people how to treat you. If you rush to prove your worth, they'll sense you don't believe in it. But if you move with certainty, not arrogance, but assurance, they'll mirror that belief. Confidence is quiet because it's complete. It doesn't grasp, it doesn't overreach. It simply is. When you stop chasing attention, you free your energy for what truly matters: connection, observation, intuition. And ironically, that's when attention starts chasing you. The energy of subtle command. Command is not control. It's clarity. You don't manipulate others' focus. You direct it naturally through coherence. You know what you're here for. You know what energy you're bringing. You don't need to dominate a space to lead it. You lead by being aligned. This is why commanding attention without performing feels effortless. Because it is. It's energy alignment, not strategy. It's knowing your presence is enough. People may not remember what you wore or said, but they'll remember how they felt in your calm. They'll remember the way you seemed to move slower than time. The way your silence felt confident, not cold. The way your stillness filled the room without demanding it. That's not performance. That's mastery. Practicing non-performance daily. To embody this level of presence, practice small daily rituals of grounding. Before leaving home, breathe deeply and remind yourself, I am not here to perform. I am here to be. Walk slower. Listen longer. Speak from calmness, not urgency. When you feel the impulse to impress, pause. When you feel yourself over-explaining, stop. When you feel unseen, center your energy inward, not outward. Over time, this reprograms your nervous system. You stop depending on attention for validation because your attention returns to you. That is how you command energy, through consistency, not chaos. The final truth of attention. In every setting, social, romantic, or professional, the woman who doesn't need attention receives it. She holds her peace like a crown, her silence like a melody. Her energy says, I am whole already, and the world, instinctively, turns toward wholeness. You don't command attention through effort. You command it through energy, energy that is calm, grounded, and certain. Because the truth is, power that whispers will always outlast power that shouts. And when your confidence speaks in silence, you no longer enter rooms to be seen, you enter to be felt. The walk, the smile, the gaze. The first seconds of an entrance are choreography and language at once. Long before you speak, your walk writes the opening sentence, your smile sets the tone, and your gaze seals the message. These three elements work best as a single current instead of separate tricks. When they are aligned, you do not have to convince a room to notice you. Attention arrives on its own because your movement, expression, and eye contact tell the same simple truth. You are comfortable in yourself and present with others. Begin with the walk, because movement is the container for everything that follows. The way your feet meet the floor communicates your inner tempo. Choose a pace that is a breath slower than the room rather than a breath faster. Rushing advertises self-doubt. Dragging signals disengagement. Imagine a line rising from the crown of your head to the ceiling and let your spine lengthen under it. Stack the head over the heart and the heart over the hips. Allow your shoulders to relax and widen, not pull back like a soldier, simply open enough for air to flow. Let your arms hang with a gentle swing that follows the step. When your weight transfers evenly through the foot, heel to ball to toe, your body reads as grounded. That sequence calms the nervous system and calms the people who are watching you. Small adjustments make a large impression. If you tend to shorten your stride when unsure, Lengthen it slightly to reclaim space. If your toes point outward or inward, bring them to a soft parallel that signals alignment. If your chin lifts too high, you will look distant. If it drops, you will look uncertain. Keep it level so the face appears open and attentive. These are not cosmetic details. They are signals of self-trust. A tall yet easy posture says you belong wherever your feet are standing, and because the body and mind are linked, the posture you practice begins to produce the feeling you intend. As you move, let your breathing lead. Inhale through the nose as you pass through the doorway, and let the exhale lengthen into your first steps. Breathing in rhythm prevents a stiff entrance and stops the cascade of hurried movements that happen when the body tries to catch up with the mind. You are not performing an entrance, you are establishing pace. A steady pace is the quiet origin of presence. When you reach the center of the room or your first natural stopping point, your walk hands the baton to your smile. A genuine smile is not decoration. It is a signal of safety that opens the social field around you. The most attractive form is the one that reaches the eyes. To create it, relax the jaw, place the tongue gently on the roof of the mouth behind the front teeth, and let the corners lift without strain. You do not need a constant grin. Think of a warm, resting expression that can brighten into a fuller smile when you meet a person's eyes. This preserves ease and prevents the fixed look that reads as tension. Match the size of your smile to the distance of the interaction. On approach, allow a soft half smile to greet the space. When you make individual contact, let it grow for a beat, then settle back to neutral. This small wave lets others feel seen without pushing your energy onto them. If you are being introduced, let the smile arrive a fraction of a second after you hear the person's name. That delay reads as sincerity rather than reflex. After the first sentence spoken, allow another small smile to confirm connection. In this way, your face moves like conversation, natural and responsive. Your smile also benefits from restraint. Too much smiling, especially when anxious, dilutes its meaning and can be read as seeking approval. Think of your expression as the temperature of your presence rather than fireworks. Warm is enough. People relax around warmth and pay attention to it because it feels generous instead of demanding. Now, let the gaze complete the arc. Eye contact is how you place your presence in the room without raising your volume. Hold a person's eyes for a beat longer than you would in passing. The beat is comfortable when it matches the rhythm of your breath. If you notice your eyes dart, pause your body. Stillness stabilizes the gaze. When greeting small groups, allow your eyes to rest on one person for a second, move to the next, and include everyone with a light return to the first. This creates a loop that feels inclusive. When greeting a larger space, send your gaze to 3 anchor points, left, center, and right, at the back of the room, then bring it forward toward faces. You have now mapped the territory with attention, which reads as leadership without a single word. The quality of the gaze matters as much as its direction. Hard staring can feel aggressive. Skimming can feel evasive. Aim for rested attention, lid soft, forehead quiet, focus steady. If you tend to overfocus, occasionally shift your attention to the person's whole face, then to the hands as they speak, then back to the eyes. This keeps your attention present and prevents a frozen look. If you tend to underfocus, give yourself a silent assignment to learn the color of each person's eyes you greet. Specificity deepens presence. Link these 3 elements so they form a seamless message. As you enter, your walk sets the meter, your smile opens the door, and your gaze invites conversation. Each supports the other. A grounded walk gives confidence to the smile. A sincere smile softens the gaze. A steady gaze dignifies the walk. If one stumbles, the others can recover it. If your step catches or you bump a chair, stop for a brief second, exhale, let a small smile acknowledge the reality. Make eye contact with the closest person and continue. Recovery is read as composure, and composure is what people remember. Clothing and shoes play a quiet role because they either free your movement or fight it. Choose shoes you can walk in without thinking so your gait stays smooth. Choose garments that let the shoulders open and the breath expand. You do not need extravagance to look powerful. The body broadcasts power when it is comfortable and aligned. Comfort here is not sloppy. It is ease that allows refinement. Voice and gesture can support the trio once you begin speaking. Allow your first words to ride the tail of an exhale so your tone begins low and calm. Keep gestures purposeful and economical, hands moving from stillness rather than constant motion. When you make a point, let your gaze land, let your gesture mark it, then let stillness frame it. The pause is what turns movement into meaning. Context will ask for small adjustments. In a solemn setting, shorten the smile and lengthen the pauses. In a celebratory setting, expand the smile and quicken the gaze loop so more people feel included. In an intimate setting, soften the walk's pace even more and shorten the physical distance so warmth replaces spectacle. None of these changes alter your essence. They simply tune the instrument to the room. The most persuasive proof that this approach works is how it changes your own experience. When your walk is even, your mind steadies. When your smile is authentic, anxiety loosens. When your gaze is steady and kind, other faces soften in return. You begin to feel that you are not pushing yourself into spaces, you are joining them. That feeling becomes your reputation. People will say you always arrive with calm, that conversations feel easier when you are there, that you seem to carry your own weather. They will not credit a trick. They will credit presence, and presence is nothing more than consistent signals telling the same story. Treat the doorway as your cue. Breathe, lengthen, enter. Let your steps speak calm. Let your face offer welcome. Let your eyes offer attention. If you hold this simple order, you will find that rooms begin to meet you halfway. The walk clears the path. The smile opens hearts. The gaze creates trust. Together they say what you want the room to hear before you say anything at all. You belong. You are at ease, and you are here to connect. Reading the energy of a room. Every space carries an emotional pulse before a single word is spoken. The moment you step through a doorway, pause internally. Breathe once before greeting anyone. This half-second of stillness separates your energy from the atmosphere, already swirling inside. Then begin to notice details that speak without language. How quickly people move, the direction of their gazes, the depth of their voices, the distance they maintain between one another. A high, bright tone in conversation signals stimulation. Long pauses and low murmurs suggest fatigue or guardedness. Even light matters. Harsh overhead bulbs create alertness, while dim corners invite slower speech. By observing these subtleties, you discover what the room needs. Sometimes it craves grounding, sometimes brightness, sometimes quiet confidence. Once you sense the rhythm, match it briefly before guiding it. Matching shows respect. Guiding demonstrates mastery. If everyone is speaking quickly, begin at their tempo for a few sentences, then slow your pace slightly. Their breathing will follow yours. If the space feels heavy, lift it with warmth, a gentle smile, an open stance, a question that invites laughter or perspective. If the energy feels frantic, lower your voice rather than raise it. Stillness among motion commands more attention than added movement. Empathy is your compass. Instead of judging an atmosphere as good or bad, approach it as information. A tense room may reveal fear of failure. A noisy one may hide discomfort. When you read with empathy, you stop reacting and start responding. People sense this difference. They may not know why they relax when you arrive, only that they feel steadier. That's the essence of reading energy, not to mirror chaos, but to harmonize it. The skill deepens when you add intuition. After scanning a room logically, shift to what you feel, the slight tightening in your stomach, the ease in your chest, the temperature of your hands. The body interprets emotion faster than the mind. If something feels off, slow down. Ask quiet questions, observe longer. If you feel expansion, use that as permission to engage more fully. Over time, your body becomes a reliable barometer for collective mood. Maintaining energetic hygiene ensures you stay centered while perceiving others. Imagine your awareness as a clear sphere extending a few feet around you. When you sense agitation, visualize that sphere remaining calm while the surrounding air ripples. You are aware but not invaded. This mental image keeps your nervous system from absorbing what does not belong to you. After leaving intense spaces, shake out your hands, roll your shoulders, and breathe deeply 3 times. Release what isn't yours before stepping into the next environment. Reading a room also involves noticing what isn't being said. The silence after someone speaks can tell more truth than the words that preceded it. Glances exchanged between colleagues. The single person who hasn't spoken yet, the person laughing too loudly. Each offers a clue. Elegance lies in responding with subtlety, not exposure. You don't call out discomfort, you soften it. You redirect a tense conversation by introducing perspective or humor. You study conflict with measured tone. Leadership here is invisible but undeniable. When you master this sensitivity, you become the thermostat rather than the thermometer. You no longer merely register the temperature. You influence it. Meetings run smoother, conversations deepen, social gatherings flow effortlessly because your presence continually recalibrates the emotional current. Others may credit coincidence, but you'll know it's awareness in action. Finally, remember that rooms are not just physical, they are emotional ecosystems. Every interaction you join adds or subtracts energy from the collective field. Before leaving, glance around once more and note how the atmosphere feels compared to when you entered. If it feels calmer, brighter, or more balanced, that's the trace of your influence. You didn't change it with words or force. You changed it by reading it, respecting it, and aligning your vibration until the space followed. That is how a woman truly owns a room. Through awareness so refined it becomes invisible, through empathy so natural it becomes power. How posture communicates self-worth. The human body is the first story the world reads. Before a single word leaves your mouth, posture speaks for you, announcing how you value yourself, how comfortable you are in your own space, and how much permission you give others to approach or respect you. It's more than a physical stance. It's an energetic broadcast of inner belief. The way you stand, sit, and move tells everyone this is how I feel about me. Every woman carries a unique rhythm in her body, but self-worth shapes how that rhythm expresses itself. When confidence is intact, the body aligns naturally. Spine tall yet supple, shoulders open, neck elongated. There is a sense of lift, not because she is forcing height, but because she occupies her full vertical presence. When self-worth is wounded, the body collapses. The chest caves slightly, the shoulders round, the chin dips. It's as if the spirit folds inward to take up less room. We learn this posture early, apologizing for existing, shrinking to avoid attention, mistaking invisibility for safety. Standing differently begins with deciding differently. Straightening the spine is not vanity, it's remembrance. It tells your nervous system, I am allowed to take up space. A strong posture signals to both body and brain that you belong here. Psychologists have documented how posture influences mood. Lifting the chest and lengthening the neck increases serotonin and decreases cortisol, literally altering chemistry toward calm assurance. The body teaches the mind. When you walk or sit, imagine a thread rising from the crown of your head, pulling gently upward. Let your shoulders rest down, heavy but open. This subtle cue reorganizes your whole presence. Your breathing deepens, your heart expands, and your energy becomes approachable yet anchored. Posture like this is quiet dignity. It doesn't beg, it simply exists. In social settings, posture determines perception more than clothing or cosmetics ever could. A woman who sits upright, legs aligned, hands resting loosely on her lap, projects poise. She doesn't fidget because she's not seeking escape. Her stillness communicates, I'm comfortable in my skin. Compare that to slouched, closed posture, arms folded, head tilted downward, which transmits guardedness. Neither posture is morally wrong, but they carry opposite messages. One says, I trust myself. The other says, I'm not sure I can handle this moment. Confidence also lives in micromovements. The way you turn your head, how you use your hands, how you enter a conversation. Slow, deliberate gestures signal control. Jerky or rushed motions imply insecurity. When you take a sip of water, when you place your phone down, when you gesture mid-sentence, each action reveals relationship to self. Intentional movement tells observers that you are self-possessed. The spine, in particular, mirrors inner authority. It is literally your central column of support. When you strengthen and align it, not only do you improve health, you broadcast leadership. Yoga and Pilates practitioners often speak about length through the crown, which awakens subtle confidence. Even in professional psychology, embodied confidence techniques use posture correction to treat social anxiety. The body, when upright, informs the psyche that danger has passed. Feminine presence gains special beauty through posture because feminine energy is felt through openness. A closed posture, crossed arms, inward shoulders blocks that current. An open posture, elongated torso, relaxed abdomen, steady hips, invites flow. This doesn't mean exposing vulnerability recklessly. It means trusting that softness is not weakness. When your heart area stays open, you radiate trustworthiness and magnetism simultaneously. People are drawn not because you look dominant, but because you look safe. Posture also defines boundaries without words. A straight back while saying no, a calm chin while declining pressure. These nonverbal cues tell others you respect yourself. In contrast, collapsing posture while agreeing sends mixed signals. Your words say yes, your body says no. Alignment between voice and posture is the language of integrity. Practicing self-worth through posture requires awareness, not perfection. Throughout the day, pause and check in. Is my chest lifted? Is my breath shallow or full? Are my shoulders tightening toward my ears? Each correction re-anchors you to the present moment. Over time, these micro-adjustments become muscle memory. You stop fixing posture and start embodying confidence naturally. When fatigue or doubt returns, and it will, use movement as meditation. Roll your shoulders back, inhale deeply, and imagine your ribs expanding like wings. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the gentle weight of your head balanced above your spine. Let the body remind you of what the mind forgets. You are supported. And in every room you enter, remember that posture isn't about impressing anyone. It's about respecting yourself enough to stand in your truth. A lifted spine says, I am ready to meet life. A lowered head says, I am hiding from it. Choose the former, and you'll find that others instinctively mirror your stance. They straighten, breathe easier, and treat you accordingly. When posture becomes presence, you no longer chase validation. You emanate it. You move through crowds not as someone asking for space, but as someone who is space, calm, expansive, unmistakably self-assured. That is how posture communicates self-worth, without words, without effort, through the quiet declaration of alignment between the body and the soul. Subtle dominance through calmness. True dominance has nothing to do with force or intimidation. It isn't loud, performative, or aggressive. It is quiet mastery, a presence that leads through composure, not control. Subtle dominance is the art of influence through calmness, a form of power that doesn't need to announce itself, because it is felt. It's the way a woman remains poised when others are unraveling, how she maintains her rhythm when chaos erupts around her. She holds her center so deeply that others instinctively align to it. Calmness is not passivity. It is authority over your emotional field. When you can stay serene in the face of provocation, you are no longer reactive, you are responsive. This emotional restraint is what sets true leaders apart. People trust calm energy because it communicates safety. When everyone else is spiraling, the calm person becomes the natural focal point of power. They do not win control through volume or velocity, but through vibrational steadiness. You can feel this energy in any setting, a boardroom, a classroom, even a family gathering. The one who speaks less, but with deliberate certainty, always shifts the dynamic. Their stillness commands where others demand. Their tone slows the tempo of conversation. Their presence reorders chaos. That is the essence of subtle dominance, the unspoken leadership that arises when your energy says, "I am unmoved." Emotional stability is magnetic because it's rare. Most people are addicted to reaction, rushing to defend, explain, or prove. But the woman who pauses before responding, who measures her words instead of spilling them, radiates control. She is not detached from emotion. She has mastered it. Her calm is her armor. Her silence is her strategy. And her energy, when unbothered, becomes the most persuasive statement in any room. Subtle dominance begins with breath. The nervous system cannot fake serenity. When you breathe deeply and evenly, you send a message to your body, "We are safe." That message translates outward. People sense it in your pace, your tone, your eyes. They may not consciously understand why they feel more grounded around you, but they do. Calm energy regulates chaotic energy. It's biological. The human brain naturally mirrors the nervous system of whoever appears most centered. So, when you're calm, you lead without effort. But calm dominance isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about emotional intelligence, knowing when to speak, how to listen, and when silence will have the greatest impact. The woman who practices this doesn't rush to correct misunderstandings or win arguments. She understands timing. She knows that a pause can carry more authority than a paragraph. Her restraint makes others respect her words because she doesn't waste them. Even body language plays a role. Subtle dominance lives in posture, in the way you occupy space. A relaxed but upright stance, uncrossed arms, a gaze that holds gently, all of these communicate self-assurance without aggression. The goal is not to appear superior, but unshakable. You don't compete for attention, you anchor it. Others unconsciously orient themselves toward your energy because it feels safe and sovereign. This quiet confidence also extends to tone. Speak from your lower register, the grounded, steady part of your voice that conveys maturity. Avoid rising intonations that make statements sound like questions. End sentences with conviction, not apology. When you speak slowly, you invite others to listen. When you use pauses intentionally, you train others to wait for your words. This is not manipulation, it's mastery of rhythm. Every leader knows, whoever controls the rhythm controls the room. Calm dominance is most visible under pressure. When life tests you, when tempers rise, when noise grows, that's when your calm becomes your crown. Instead of matching others' chaos, you hold stillness like a mirror. You let their energy exhaust itself against your composure. The person who refuses to match instability will always win influence over those who can't help but react. But subtle dominance doesn't mean coldness. It thrives on compassion. True power isn't about intimidating others into silence. It's about giving them space to think, to feel, to soften. People follow calm leaders not because they fear them, but because they feel secure in their presence. This balance between strength and empathy is the hallmark of feminine authority. It's strength without harshness, clarity without cruelty. Practicing subtle dominance is a daily discipline. Start by mastering small moments, waiting an extra second before replying to a message, lowering your tone instead of raising it, holding eye contact without flinching, walking away from chaos instead of joining it. Every act of restraint builds your energy field. Over time, your calm becomes unmistakable, not the silence of suppression, but the silence of sovereignty. Eventually, you'll notice that rooms shift when you enter. Conversations slow down. People listen differently. Even tension seems to dissolve around you. That's the invisible signature of calm dominance. You didn't force anyone to respect you. You taught them to, through vibration, not volume. And perhaps that's the deepest secret. The most powerful energy is never frantic. It's never desperate. It doesn't need to shout to be heard. It simply is. And when your calm becomes that steady, the kind that can't be shaken by noise, doubt, or chaos, you won't just enter rooms confidently. You'll own them without ever needing to say a word. The art of graceful authority. Authority, in its purest form, isn't about hierarchy or control. It's about presence, the quiet, natural influence of a person who leads without demanding to be followed. Graceful authority is the rare balance between confidence and compassion, between firmness and warmth. It is power that doesn't bruise, guidance that doesn't shout, and leadership that feels like trust rather than intimidation. When a woman masters this art, she becomes both anchor and inspiration, someone who commands respect simply by existing in alignment with her values. Graceful authority begins with self-regulation. You cannot lead anyone, not a room, not a team, not a relationship, if you cannot lead your own emotions. The person who can stay composed when others are reactive becomes the natural stabilizer in every situation. Authority that flows from calmness feels effortless, but it is built on discipline. It's the habit of pausing before speaking, of observing before judging, of maintaining equilibrium even when challenged. This internal steadiness radiates outward, showing others that you are in control of your energy and, therefore, of the space around you. Yet grace is what softens that control. It prevents confidence from hardening into pride. Graceful authority understands tone. It recognizes when to assert and when to yield, when to speak and when to listen. It doesn't need to dominate to be respected. It invites respect through clarity and empathy. In conversation, this looks like maintaining steady eye contact while keeping your tone measured. It's saying no without aggression, yes without submission, and maybe without fear. Every word becomes intentional, not reactive, but responsive. Graceful authority also thrives on boundaries. Without them, grace becomes weakness. Boundaries are how you teach others to value your energy. They create structure within softness. You can be kind and still say, "This doesn't work for me." You can be loving and still walk away when respect is compromised. The authority in your no doesn't come from volume. It comes from conviction. When your words are supported by consistent action, people stop testing your limits. They trust your firmness because they can feel it's grounded in self-respect, not ego. There's also a visual rhythm to authority that exudes grace. It's in how you move through a room, slow enough to project ease, precise enough to project purpose. Your gestures are minimal but meaningful. Your tone is soft yet firm. Even stillness becomes communication. The way you stand while listening, upright but relaxed, tells others you are both present and poised. This kind of body language doesn't say, "Look at me." It says, "I see you." That subtle shift changes every dynamic. People lower their defenses around someone who feels both confident and kind. The secret behind graceful authority lies in authenticity. Pretended authority breeds resistance. Authentic authority invites trust. When your leadership comes from a genuine place, when you speak from values, not vanity, people naturally align with you. Authenticity doesn't require perfection. In fact, showing humility when appropriate deepens credibility. Admitting when you're uncertain or when you've made a mistake doesn't weaken authority. It humanizes it. People follow those who remind them that strength and softness can coexist. A woman with graceful authority doesn't compete for dominance. She leads through energy, not ego. In meetings, her tone steadies chaos. In friendships, her words comfort and clarify. In love, her boundaries create safety. Her power is unmistakable, but it doesn't need validation. It's reflected in how people behave around her. They listen more carefully, they speak more respectfully, they relax. To cultivate this kind of authority, practice conscious awareness. Before reacting, ask yourself, what energy do I want to add to this moment? This question shifts you from impulse to intention. You stop mirroring the energy around you and start setting it. When you maintain composure under pressure, people begin to associate you with stability. That association builds trust, and trust is the foundation of influence. Graceful authority is not about control over others, it's mastery of self. It's realizing that your tone can diffuse tension, your posture can restore order, and your silence can communicate wisdom. You lead not because you demand obedience, but because your energy earns it. Leadership of this kind doesn't end when you leave a room. It lingers. People continue to feel your calm after you're gone because your presence rebalanced the emotional current. The world has enough leaders who shout, rush, and command through fear. What it needs, what you can become, is a leader whose authority feels like peace. A woman who doesn't raise her voice because she doesn't need to. A woman who can stand in grace and still be firm, who can direct with kindness and still be decisive. That is the art of graceful authority, the ability to lead hearts, not just actions. And once you embody that, you'll discover that power was never about control, it was about coherence. The more aligned you are within yourself, the more effortlessly the world aligns around you. Thank you for listening to this chapter of Becoming Her. If you haven't subscribed to the Book Club podcast yet, go ahead and do that so you can stay updated on every new release. You can also find this book on Amazon in paperback and Kindle formats if you'd like a physical or digital copy. And if you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who might benefit from it as well. See you in the next chapter.